Professor Yunus, you are celebrated and have been honored principally for establishing a bank that made available millions of dollars, microloans, they've come to be called, to people in your country, poor people in your country who were otherwise deemed not worthy of credit. That's clearly nonviolent, and that's clearly a tool of social and economic change in your country, particularly because most of the people the money has been lent to are women, as I understand it. Are there similar nonviolent means of economic change?
I'll be right back.
Okay. Спасибо.
Я иду к ведущему, чтобы сказать один момент.
All right.
I'll be right back. Just a minute.
With my fluent Russian, I believe he just said, "I'll be right back." Or maybe I'll be back. Now, back to Professor Yunus.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is clearly a nonviolent idea, very successful. Are there other similar nonviolent means of economic change that you're aware of in existence now or on the drawing boards?
Well, let me put it this way, and the way you phrase the question. If you look at the poor people, they are very nonviolent. Because if you see millions and billions of poor people, they have not gone in the road of violence. The whole thing will erupt if they did that. So they are very quiet, they are waiting. They don't even know that there's something can happen to them. They have accepted the way it is. At the same time, if you look at the unemployed people all over the world, they are very nonviolent. Again, millions and billions of people remain unemployed. Why does it happen to them? Is it the fault in those people? Can they, if they realize that it's not my fault that I'm a poor person, if they realize that it is not my fault that I am unemployed, probably they will say, why do I have to suffer every day, every year, my whole generation and next generation and so on? So there's a very easy road to violence into that. Luckily, they don't go for violence. They are very quiet people.
And they don't have any guns.
Luckily, they don't have guns. But if you want to get the guns, they can find it. There's no problem. There are people who would give them the guns readily to create their violence. So it's keeping people in that kind of situation is not very safe anyway for anybody. But somehow, whatever we do it a small local kind of problem. It's not a global problem. But what I'm saying, potentially is very explosive. Could have been very explosive. Once they realize that this is not their fault that they're poor, it's not their fault that they're unemployed. One way I usually explain poverty, coming from my own work over the years, that it's almost like a bonsai tree. You take the best seed of the tallest tree and put it in a flower pot and then wait to grow, and it grows after long patient wait, it grows only this big. And we call it bonsai. It looks exactly like the beautiful tree out there, but it's only this big. And you question, what's wrong with this tree? Why didn't it grow? We can't blame the seed because we picked a good seed. Ultimate explanation is we put it in a flower pot. We didn't put it in the real soil to grow as tall as the other trees. I said, poor people are bonsai people. There's nothing wrong with their seed. Simply, society never gave them the space to grow. That's what makes all the difference. If they understood that, now they blame their fate, they blame God, they blame everybody else. They don't say the system which made me this. That's why they are quiet. But if they realize it's not my fault, poverty is imposed on me. I have not created poverty. I'm as good as anybody else because my seed is as good as anybody else. So why am I suffering from this? Why institutions are screwed up? Why institutions are built in the system where I'm rejected? That's where this microfinance thing came about. When I tried to lend a few dollars worth of money to a few people in the village and tried to attract the bank to do it, the bank said, no, it can't be done. They are not creditworthy. Then I said, what is creditworthy? Have you ever tried? I said, no, we don't have to try because they're not creditworthy. How do you know? Because everybody knows. I said, that's not good enough. You have to try and find out. And I tried and I found out it's not true. Today, I keep asking the question, I said, should the banks tell that poor are not creditworthy? They make judgment on people? Rather, people say that the banks are not people-worthy. Isn't that the way it should have been? So, we have banks all over the world. We have seen what happens with the banks. You saw the financial crisis coming through them and make other people suffer. When people lost their jobs, it was not he was inefficient or she didn't do the job. Somebody screwed up the system somewhere and I lost my job. And we are lucky. We are lucky that they are peaceful. We are lucky that they are not marching up and down the street, that you made us suffer. You have no right to do that. Why did you design a system where and we are so proud of the system that we build, capitalist system or whatever system is, we are so proud of it. Why did we create a system where half the population remain unemployed? What's wrong with them? They're capable people, creative people, innovative people, ready to contribute, ready to do, but they are wasted away. What a waste of human resources, human creative power, and we are so proud of the system. Why can't we? Why can't we throw that system in the basket? This is not going for anybody any good.
Professor, I have an idea that there may actually be some bankers in this audience.
I'd love to talk to them.
Right. I wondered if you might want to.
Yeah, we run banks now in New York City, so it's not far in Bangladesh. You don't have to go all the way. We have 4 branches in New York City. We have 9,000 borrowers. We started in 2008, and all 9,000 are women, very low-income women. Average loan is $1,500. Repayment is 99.3%. No collateral, nothing. Right. The same city you can get for a small loan, not to the bank. Bank, absolutely, no way. You can go to only the payday lenders. And you know what payday lenders do. Charge 100%, 500%, 1,000% interest, and it's a thriving business. Nobody cares, and we say, competition will take care of everything. What happened to the competition for thousands of years? It still continues, the same old loan sharking. Right. So that's where we created the new institutions to show that it works. And we were there in 2008 in New York City. And when the financial crisis came in New York City, when the big banks were melting away, collapsing, on the other side of the street, Grameen program was thriving. And I said, I wish some journalist will ask me, tell me who is creditworthy. I will tell them who creditworthy are. They were telling me 35 years back that poor are not creditworthy. Today is a good example on the same street, is the poor who are paying the money back. All the rich people, they are not making their payments. With all the lawyers, all the collateral, they said, without collateral, you cannot do banking. I said, what are you doing now with collateral? This is what's happening without collateral, without paper, without any lawyers in our system. We don't have any lawyers, but it works. the point I'm making, we don't have a system which is people-friendly. We need to redesign the system. The system we have is a money-centric system. Money, money, money. Money is the king. It becomes a habit. It becomes an obsession. It becomes an addiction. And as if human beings are some kind of money-making robots. And I keep telling that human beings are not money-making robots. They are human beings. They are wide, multidimensional capabilities. But you put them into a tiny little format called money makers. So we said, redesign the system which accommodates the full human being, not robot-like human being. You created robots out of the system. So we are creating a different kind of business called social business. Non-dividend company, which solves problems. We can create a system which is a problem-solving system, which is cost-driven system, not just money-centric system. So we said we can create two kinds of business. One, to make money. One, to solve problems. Today, money making is a means, money making is an end. It doesn't make any sense. Money making can be a means, but end has to be a purpose. What is the purpose of life? That's lost completely. So you talk about violence, non-violence, and all that. Seeds of violence is in the system. Until you pick up those seeds out of the system, very difficult to handle that. So you go into wars, you go into things, justifying that this is the way economy can grow, this is the way your interest, immediate commercial interest lies, or whatever. You want to hold on to the oil fields, you want to hold on to this particular thing. That's what the seeds of all the problem.
Sean, can I say one sentence?
Sure.
In that context, I just feel an obligation to do a shout out to Occupy across the country. These are people who have stood up to express their objection to institutionalized inequities of wealth, poverty, and instead of being listened to in dialogue, as His Holiness has talked about, they have been vilified, criminalized, beaten, tear gassed, and I've been very appreciative of the moderators in these sessions at how many times they spoke about Occupy as if it was something worthy to be listened to. And I will just end saying that several of us Peace Laureates are meeting with Occupy Chicago after this session. Thank you.